In our home, 4 languages are spoken: English, Spanish, French, and Vietnamese. With our first child on the way, we've been thinking deeply about what kind of legacy we want to build. We want to share about why building a multilingual family means so much to us, and also why it might inspire you.
My ethnicity is Vietnamese, but I was born and raised in France. I learned Vietnamese first at home and then French in school. I improved my French pretty rapidly in school, and I started to study English at the age of 10. Then after that, I chose Spanish as my third language at 13 years old. At home, I mainly speak Vietnamese with my family because they know that in school I mostly speak French. So they forced us to speak Vietnamese at home. I remember there was time when my parents would talk to me in Vietnamese and I will reply back to them in French. They wouldn't talk to me back after that just because I responded to them in French. So they were waiting for me to reply back to them in Vietnamese to continue the conversation. I was frustrated at times. Now looking back, I'm actually very grateful that they did that to allow me to maintain my Vietnamese at home. And my grandpa also, when I first started to study English in school, every single night we'll have a 30-minute session with a book when we'll study English additionally at home every single night. And that part, I hated it as well. I didn't want to study English at home. I just wanted to watch TV or play games. But I'm very grateful that he also took the time and effort to teach me English at home. I grew up in France and I moved to America at 21 years old. I remember when I first moved here, even though I studied English at a very young age, I honestly didn't use it much when I was in France. When I had to communicate with others, I struggled a lot. I would have to create a sentence in my head and think about it 2 to 3 times before I open my mouth. I felt very slow, but everything comes with practice. I got a job at a boba shop as a cashier, which allowed me to communicate with customers every single day, and that really helped me to improve my English in terms of communication. For Spanish, I was really good in school. I had high grades. Because I'd never use it, I've lost a lot in vocabulary. Since I've been with my husband, I had the opportunity to practice more, and now I've been very consistent with Duolingo for several months now. All that allowed me to practice my Spanish on a daily basis, and I feel like I'm leaning towards an intermediate level. So that's my upbringing with these 4 languages.
For my upbringing, I came to the United States when I was around 4 to 5 years old. My first language was Spanish, so I grew up speaking Spanish in the household. When we came to the States and my mom put me in school here, I began to learn English slowly, only at school because my family didn't speak it much. My mom chose to put me in bilingual classes. I did struggle a bit learning the language English growing up, but over time it got better and better as I used it more. I got to practice Spanish at home and English at school. Over the course of the school years, I began to improve on my English by practicing at school with writing it, reading it, and speaking it. I mainly speak Spanish when I'm around my family. Now, over time, since I'm an adult, I do fluctuate with speaking English with my brother, but sister and my mom, we mainly speak Spanish. When it comes to work and friends, I mainly speak English. Currently, since I got married to my wife, I've been learning a little bit of French on Duolingo. I'm still in the very beginning stages of it, but it's slowly improving over time when I get to practice it on a daily basis, and I occasionally speak with my wife.
The reason why we want to raise a multilingual family is because we do see a lot of benefits being able to communicate with our families on both sides. On my side, my family can speak French and Vietnamese, but more Vietnamese than French. As long as our children are able to speak one of these languages, it's going to be very helpful.
On my side, it's important for our kids to learn Spanish. Whenever they come visit my side of the family, they're able to communicate with my mom because my mom mainly speaks Spanish. She does understand and speak English, but not as strong as Spanish. So we want to make sure that that family connection is there and the communication. And that way it creates a stronger bond within our family. That's part of the Spanish side. Another reason why we think it's important, not only when we take our kids to visit our family, in the matter that our kids go visit our home country and our family at our home country, for example, for me, it being Mexico or either Vietnam or France for Betty, they're able to speak the language and also submerge themselves in the culture and have that connection with our families there. Because Betty has a good amount of family in France.
I still have my aunts and uncles in France as well. In Vietnam, I have my grandma. If she's able to communicate in these two languages, it'll be beneficial to build a connection with our family abroad.
It's not only important for our children to speak both languages on both sides of the family, but it's also important for them to be multilingual in order to be set up to have the best future they can possibly have. And we believe that one way is through languages. It adds a lot of benefit when it comes to travel and work. So we want to make sure we're able to extend that opportunity since it's something that we both know.
One personal example in my personal career is I was able to use Vietnamese and French in my previous job. I was working as an international buyer. I was working with our counterparts overseas in Vietnam. So I was able to use Vietnamese a little bit, and the company that I worked for organized an event in Paris. Because I speak French, they gave me the opportunity to lead the event in France. I was helping them finding vendors. I coordinated with all the vendors and different venues in France for them.
And for myself, I also work with a lot of counterparts from all over the world. One, for example, being coworkers from Mexico. And knowing Spanish both allows me to connect with people from the States very clearly in English. And whenever I go to Mexico for meetings and events that my counterparts are at, I'm able to fluently speak Spanish and connect with them in a deeper level. Knowing multiple languages adds a beneficial edge to my skill set when it comes to my career. I'm able to handle multiple relationships on both sides of the border and continue to foster that over time. And with our children, knowing multiple languages, it allows them to have the benefit of many worlds. One final point that we believe is beneficial for our children is not only being able to speak with their families and having an edge when it comes to the future career, it also challenges them in a cognitive manner. They're able to challenge their mind at an early age in order to build stronger resilience when it comes to future academics.
Our approach is one parent, one language. Both of us will actually speak English with our children, but I will have the task to speak French with our children, and he'll have the task to speak Spanish with our children. Then for Vietnamese, we'll think about it later because it's already 3 languages, and Vietnamese, besides being connected with family, we don't really see the use in terms of career or traveling because you can only use Vietnamese in Vietnam and no other countries, versus French you can actually use in Europe and also in Canada.
We want to focus on the languages that we believe will give them the better advantage in their future.
And this strategy, one parent, one language, is called OPOL, O-P-O-L.
We plan on doing a mix of speaking with our kids in our native languages that are tasked to each one of us. While we both know that it might be a challenging task to speak to them in multiple languages, we believe that as long as we are consistent with them that they will gather this knowledge over time.
I know that there are parents out there who don't want to teach their kids multiple languages at an early age because they are concerned that that could slow them down. But according to studies, the earlier the better. As long as we use that strategy of one parent, one language, it won't confuse them as much. It's important for them to be exposed to these languages at an early age because their brain is
Like a sponge.
Like they could absorb a lot and adapt very quickly.
We also have a close acquaintance who began teaching their daughter Spanish at a later age, and their hindsight was that they should have started at an earlier age because now it's deeming more challenging, and it takes away a little bit from the growing up experience is something we believe, because there could have been more connections with her family or grandmas and grandpas instead of just knowing English.
Based on my personal experience, I do see a lot of benefits of speaking multiple languages. I'm very happy the fact that I can communicate with my family in different countries. I want the same for my kids. If I could do it, I know my kids will be able to do the same.
While growing up, it was a challenge for the both of us, learning different languages at the same time. We both have seen the benefits that come from it, not only on a personal level, but also on a professional level. And we want the same thing for our children. We want them to be able to enjoy speaking and having a connection with their families. We want them to be able to have the ability to travel to different countries and speak the language there, being able to transition quickly between languages. We believe that this really will set them apart, and we want to do the best for our children because as other parents, we want the best for them and we already love them ahead of time. So we want to make sure we're setting them up right.
We want them to be confident and be able to be independent. We don't want to, let's say we go to my family's house and we'll have to translate, I would have to translate everything between my children and my family. I want them to be able to communicate directly with my family and vice versa on his side. I think that's really important.
We'll find it very satisfying when we go visit our family and they're able to walk up to their grandparents and start speaking our native language, and we will know at that moment that all of our efforts were worthwhile. If you're also raising a multilingual family, share your experiences with us in the comments. And if you'd like to learn words or phrases in Spanish, French, or Vietnamese, check out our shorts. Thank you for being part of our journey and listening to us share on how we're building a legacy.